Tell me if you've heard this one before. The United States economy is headed for a recession. Well, today we're going to talk about what happens to the US economy and to mortgage rates and home prices during a recession. Our first slide today, by the way, this is Ricky Walters with Landmark Lending, certified mortgage advisor and the Mortgage Wise Guy. We're looking at a slide that's the leading economic indicators signaling recessions historically. Going back to 2000, we see every time the blue dipped below the red -5 in these indicators, there was a recession 3 times going back to the early 2000s. We have the same signal here today on the right end of the graph, but we don't have a recession called yet. Why is that? Well, another slide showing very much the same thing. These same indicators, every time they roll over going back 60 years, so 80 years of history, a significant rollover where we dip in economic indicators, we see recession. Every one of these gray lines or gray boxes is a recession, except we're here on the right end of the graph and no recession called yet. Why is that? Well, if you've ever heard of the National Board of Economic Research, they're like the umpire that calls the United States economy having gone through a recession. And I say having gone through a recession because they don't call the recession ahead of time or while we're in the recession. They wait till after or we're coming out of a recession to let us know. It's kind of like looking in the rearview mirror to drive your car forward. Not a good idea. I don't recommend it. And there's a reason the windshield that you're looking at is much larger than the rear view mirror. But that's what this agency does. And that's what the Fed has been doing with their policy on interest rates and trying to bring inflation down. Let's take a look at Treasury yield inversions. A Treasury yield inversion is a shorter maturity Treasury giving a higher rate of return than a longer Treasury yield. This is an extremely reliable sign of a coming recession. Historically, every time that we see the 10-year minus the 2-year as a coming recession indicator, and it's now been inverted for 7 months in a row, you can see how much it's been inverted from 1.25% to 0.75%, 7 months in a row. This also coincides with 10 months in a row of contraction in leading economic indicators. So yeah, you've heard before, we're coming into a recession. This graph basically shows the visual of that. Every time we dip below this zero red line negative for an inversion on the Treasury yields, we see the gray box recession coming right after that. Inversion, gray box, recession, inversion, recession, inversion, recession. And now we're extremely negative. But because we have to look backwards to call a recession, we don't see that recession signal yet. Do you know what happens to mortgage rates, though, and real estate appreciation during a recession? Historically, that's really the question that everyone wants to know. It's not no impact. It's not mortgage rates improve and home prices decline. It's not mortgage rates go higher, home prices improve. It's mortgage rates improve and home prices improve. Here we go. We can see the graph on mortgage rates historically, again, in these yellow boxes. Every time we see a yellow box in a recession going back to the early 70s, interest rates decline. 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we're at the right end, and we're about to see this roll over and come down. And you will see improvement in interest rates during that recession, too, as soon as it's called. This is showing what happens to housing. And over, again, 80 years, historically, there's only been one exception to the rule that home prices have improved and gone up during a recession. It was during this 07, 08 mortgage meltdown crisis when all kinds of bad loans were created and made for people that had no business getting them. But other than that exception, we've always seen appreciation of home prices during recessions. So what's the moral of our story? If you're in the real estate business, get ready. It's about to get exciting again. Mortgage rates have already come down from their highs of over 7% back in November. They're in the low 6s on average to mid 5s right now for 30-year fixed rates. And as nervous buyers come back because of rates coming down, multiple offers, bidding wars, and home appreciation is coming soon. If you want to learn more from the Mortgage Wise Guy, I'm doing a class called What to Show and Tell an On the Fence Buyer Thursday, February 16th at the Bay East Association of Realtors. It's a free class, and I hope you can attend. This has been Ricky Walters, certified mortgage advisor with Landmark Lending, the Mortgage Wise Guy. Thank you so much for watching.